All right. Hello, everybody. Good evening if you're watching it for the Tuesday night, or good morning, good day if you're watching it later. But today we have amazing interview with Dr. Udani. Dr. Udani's been with us for almost several years now, and we're just excited for her um, and the great work that she does. And I just want to understand a little bit more about naturopathy today. So welcome, Dr. Udani.
Hi,
And
Dr. Justine.
good. Hey, and I'm going to just start a little bit about my journey and learning about naturopathy. I am somebody who suffered from numerous allergies, and learning about how to manage allergies that really many times crippled my life. When I was pregnant, I ended up with a rash everywhere, so severe that I couldn't handle clothes. I couldn't handle the sheets. I was scratching to the extent that I was bleeding everywhere. And, went to the medical doctor, and they're like, just take steroid cream. And I'm like, oh, geez, I'm pregnant. I don't want to take steroids. Um, I eventually started talking to the midwife and to my naturopath, and they gave me what would be considered a constitutional remedy. So at that time it was sepia, and literally within 10 minutes, the rash, I took my first dose, started to calm down. The swelling started to come down. I took a second dose, and within a half an hour, the redness, the itchiness that I thought I was going to lose my mind moment. And literally, like, I was thinking, I can't handle this pregnancy anymore. Like, that's how insane I got with the itchiness. It was all over. And naturopathy, this like literally, saved my child's life. Like, it was that dramatic an experience for me to learn about naturopathy and homeopathy. And since then, that's where I do my physicals. I use naturopathy to do a full exam, because I find that that's a 45-minute exam instead of a 5-minute exam with the medical doctor. Of course, I like the fact that I don't have to wait in the waiting room forever. I'm right in on time, more personalized visit. And then it helped with, now afterwards, it helped me with menses and dealing with hormonal concerns. Getting through menopause has helped me. So I've personally had huge benefits with naturopathy. And so that's why we have Udani on our team, because I know the value. And I know that it's an out-of-pocket cost for me. I know that, free would be with the MD, but free doesn't always mean better, right? We know that you get what you pay for. And if you want quality, and you want time spent, and you want personalized, and you want to learn about your blood work, your urine analysis, feces analysis, full physical examinations, I find I get better results with a naturopath. So, Dr. Udani, welcome. Naturopathy, homeopathy has changed my life and my family's life. So happy that you're with us. But we want to learn a little bit about you. So, how did you learn about naturopathy?
Yes, that's a great question, Dr. Justine, and thank you so much for that amazing. I'm so happy for you that you had such a great experience with naturopathy and homeopathy. I was in the similar boat, actually. So when I was starting to study, I initially wanted to be a medical doctor for the longest time, and I was so set in that course. And I have nothing against medical doctors or anything like that. I was writing my exams for that, but then I ended up taking a year off. And my mom actually ended up getting sick. So she was going through menopause. She was going through some mood issues like depression. And when she went to her medical doctor, they just prescribed an antidepressant. And my mom's initial concern was she just had trouble sleeping. So my mom's one of those very stubborn ladies. So she was like, I don't want to take this medication. It's going to give me all these side effects. It's not going to make my sleeping better. It might actually make it worse. And so she started to look into other alternative therapies. So she started acupuncture. She went to see a naturopath, and she started looking into her own nutrition too. And she got better, like on her own with these therapies. And that really inspired me to look into this modality and this way of medicine. And I have to say that is one of the best decisions I've made in my life, because I've noticed such a big difference with myself, with my own health, like how I look at it, the different perspective. And, my parents are still really healthy. So I just saw that how my mom helped healed with it, and I wanted to heal more people with this medicine. So that's really my journey, and I really have no regrets. I love what I do. I love seeing my patients get better, and I just feel like it's helped me personally a lot too, especially with digestive concerns that I've had my whole life, where I would have at least once a month, I would have food poisoning, an episode of food poisoning. And I would go to the doctor, and they would give me acid blockers or things to kind of help, but it never really helped until I looked at what was really going on, and used nutrition, used botanical medicine to really help heal my gut and my inside. And so I'm really, really happy to with what's happened it for me as well as my family. So that's really my journey of why I became a naturopath.
That's awesome. Now, a lot of people say, well, what gave your mom the strength? Like, that's pretty amazing as a leader, but it's hard to go against the norm, the conventional norm of just following what your medical doctor told you to do. Where do you think that strength came from?
That's so true, because initially I was like, well, Mom, what are you doing? The doctor said to do this. But I think for her, it really came from an experience of seeing her father in hospital, and the experience he went through where he had diabetes and he was just in the hospital. And it really just ultimately led to like him passing away because of the lack of care that he received. So I think my mother really saw that experience, and she's like, I don't want to go down this road. It seems like a road that doesn't seem into wellness. It just seems like it's a road to illness. So she saw that, and then she realized there are other options, and she started looking into all these different modalities, different alternatives to see how can I preserve my health so that I'm healthy when I'm in my 70s and 80s and 90s and not be like my grandfather was. So that really inspired her. And then we all followed through because of her actions, really. So it does only take one person in your family to.
Amazing change, because your mom's now leaving a legacy herself, right? She is changing not only her own health, but the generations in your family to come and the generations of families that you get to help. So what a blessing. Sorry to hear about the loss of your grandpa, but at the same point, your family has learned, and now you have the opportunity to help so many other families. So awesome. One of the things that I found so astounding in becoming a naturopathic patient was how extensive the paperwork was and how much you needed to know about me. Like, it took an hour, to fill out this paperwork, do it in detail, partly because I'd had so many health conditions. So to fill out the paperwork and to do this extensive interview, you will see that it was on our website. You have to go to that top right-hand corner, get the forms ahead of time, right? Because you want to do it with a tea or a coffee, sit down, fill out those forms where it says existing patients, and go down to the forms section, get the forms for the naturopath, fill them out ahead of time so that you can have a better response, right? Because your extensive first interview is a lot of weird questions. Like, sometimes they'd ask, like, do you sleep with your hands above your head? When do you go to the bathroom? How often do you go to the bathroom? What's your poop like? Like, I'm like, really? You need to know that? So there's some pretty extensive questions. What's your sleep habits? When do you wake up in the middle of the night? So just be aware that there's some pretty in-depth, initial examination. And you will see, on our website, that first page where you see the existing pages, patients, you'll be able to get those forms and the information there. Tell me a little about naturopathy. What kind of education did you need in order to become a naturopath?
Right. So as a registered naturopathic doctor in Ontario, I have to have had a 4-year undergraduate degree from a university, and then a 4-year Doctor of Naturopathy degree. So there are only 2 schools in Canada that have an accredited naturopathic program, one in BC and one in Ontario. So I went to the one in Ontario, the one in Toronto. So it was about 8 to 9 years of studying and schooling to really become a naturopathic doctor. And you do, as you, I'm sure do as well, you wrote your board exams, examinations. We have a college that represent us. So, to make sure anyone's not out of line. So it's a very tightly regulated profession. And if anybody has questions, it is something that I would love to talk about. But yeah, so there is a lot of schooling that went into becoming a naturopathic doctor.
Same as chiropractic. I don't think people realize the 8 years. Tell me a little bit, like, now that you've become a naturopath, and certainly your mom has been a massive change, but what are some of the small things and how that actually affects your family directly?
Right. So some of the small things so for us, a lot of the times, some of the small habits were changing different kinds of food that we eat. So a lot of my family now, we tend to be more eating the pescatarian, so more of a fish-based diet, a lot of healthy omega fats. So with my mom, seeing how she changed and how she became so proactive, we also started to think about our health. Even though I was in my 20s back then, I was like, you know what? I want to think about 10 to 20 years, 30 years in my future. So how can I change some of my eating habits? How can I change my exercise routine? And then when I did do that, I noticed a huge difference in my energy. Even just working out, getting those endorphins in me, it helps so tremendously. And even just simple things like being out in nature is something that I wasn't really even thinking about back then. Now I make that a priority. So I think when you make your health a priority, it really does pay you and reward you in so many different ways. So
I think for our family, as we went into this natural route, to have a cabinet for vitamins, it just wasn't something that we had before. Maybe you had a container of vitamin C, but didn't have a cabinet for vitamins or an area for our homeopathics. And even if you went in our pantry, it had junk food in there. And now if you go into the pantry, it looks different. Like, it has hemp seeds, and it has flax seeds, and it has chia seeds, like things that and lots of nuts and seeds, and sunflower seeds, like things that maybe wasn't there before, right? Gluten free, like the whole pantry, the whole section of our kitchen looks different. Even what we might clean our sheets with, or clean our look at toxicity in the laundry room would look different, or under our bathroom sink would look different, and how we clean our house would look different. So it certainly starts as we get into this natural world of trying to be healthy naturally. It starts to permeate into all parts of our homes. Tell me, when a lot of us have a health philosophy, what would you think of as your philosophy of health?
Yes. So my main philosophy of health is that you need to empower yourself to be healthy. I think it's like my health philosophy is, yes, nature can heal you. Your body has the power to heal you. When you take charge of your health. I think that's the thing where a lot of us these days, we think, the healthcare system is going to take care of us, but it's not a healthcare system. It's a sick care system, right? You go there when you're sick. And most often the medical.
She'll come back. Just give us a second. We love our internet. You're good. Keep going.
I'm good. Sorry about that. So yes, I was saying it's more of a sick care system. So my health philosophy is to be proactive instead of being reactive. Yes.
Awesome.
So it's about prioritizing your wellness before your illness. So
Nice. She'll come back, folks. Hang in there. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but she'll be right there. Let me ask you another question, Dr. Udani. I love your philosophy, and it mirrors and matches with my own about helping that innate intelligence be your best in a proactive way. What would be a typical day for you? Like a typical, whatever, it's a Monday or a Sunday, a typical day, how would you live out wellness?
So sorry about this. Internet, it seems to be choppy. Yeah, so I'll do two things. So as a naturopathic doctor and as myself. So a typical day for me really begins with a healthy diet, healthy breakfast, a lot of water. I switched to decaf coffee now, so that's helped a lot for me. I actually don't notice any change in my energy, which is really strange. I used to drink like 3 cups of coffee, and now I'm okay with 1 cup of decaf. I'm like, all right. So a lot of the healthy eating goes in, a lot of water, a lot of movement too. Just like even when I'm sitting down and at the computer or talking, doing paperwork, I make sure I at least go outside and walk actually in my backyard, like bare feet, just to ground myself. Then I try to go to sleep a little bit. Like, so the day goes on, I have my lunch and dinner at a good time. And I try to go to sleep around, 11 o'clock or so. It's a little late, but that's my routine these days. And then really it's all about just whenever I do feel, let's say, stressed, instead of bottling it in now, I try to like eliminate, like I try to release it. So I'll go for a workout or I'll go for a walk in nature. So I really prioritize my health and how I live. So it's one of my top 3 things. One is family, second is my health, and the third is like my cat. Okay, so right now. But so it's I prioritize those 3. And then as a naturopathic doctor, my day-to-day seeing patients is that I spend, almost at least an hour with each patient. So really getting to know them, really talking to them. And I love it. I really love it, Dr. Justine.
Yeah.
So I have so much fun with my patients. Some of them, I think we just have a laugh. And we really get to the root cause of what's going on with them. And I do treatment. So acupuncture is a very common treatment I do for a lot of my patients. I can prescribe them supplements or nutrition help, botanical help if they need it. And so my day with my patients is really just, sometimes it's back to back with different patients. But what I love is that I can really get to know my patients really well and figure out what they really need with their health and how to help them.
I think that's something that I love too, as being a patient of a naturopath, that it was more custom and more of a relationship than something that's five minutes or so, and here's your prescription. Tell me a little bit more about like some of the modalities and the things that you would use to help people, and how that works, please.
Yes, for sure. So I love using acupuncture. So acupuncture is a traditional Chinese medicine modality. It's been used for over 2,000 years. It's been amazingly effective for a lot of concerns like pain, a lot of menstrual concerns too. So if you have PMS, really heavy periods, stress and anxiety, depression has been great too. So I use a lot of acupuncture in my my treatments with patients. And then I usually start with using a heat lamp. So this heat lamp helps to heat the back. It's called an infrared heat lamp. So think about a dry sauna. If you've ever been to one and you feel that heat, but it's dry, that's infrared heat. So that's the same feeling you get when you're under this lamp. I always tell my patients, you feel like you're at the beach when this is on. So it's like a very nice soothing heat to relieve that tension. And because it's infrared, it really penetrates really deep and into the body to heal. So with this patient, I did some soft tissue massage first. He came in with a lot of shoulder pain and some back pain. So you can see some redness there because of the work I did. And then the heat lamp really helps to, relax the muscles. And then I also use a lot of acupuncture when I use the heat lamp to, target the specific things. So acupuncture needles are, single use only, so I only use them once. And so acupuncture is a big modality that I do. And then I also do botanical medicine, which is they're tinctures. So I don't know if you've ever had tinctures. They taste kind of bitter, but it's like very good, very herbal concoctions are in there. So if you have a lot of digestive concerns, I might recommend you tinctures because they really help heal the gut and affect that too. So, and also I love, recommending nutritional help. So let's say you come in with trouble losing weight. So I will let you know what are some possible options for diets that can help you, or some nutrients that you want to take in, and so go from there. So I have a pretty big toolkit. Another one I do use is a lot of counseling as well. So not that I have training equivalent to a psychotherapist, but I do have some training where I can talk to you. Let's say you are having a stressful or anxious time dealing with the pandemic, and feeling that that stress. You can speak to me about some ways to help deal with that as well. So there's a wide variety of things I can use, and of course homeopathy as well. It's been great.
Awesome. If Angela, you could show some of those other slides, that would be great. We saw the lamp slide. There's the
Yes.
acupuncture slide. And I just want to comment that this does not hurt. This is not like a needle where something goes in. The needles are as fine as your hair, and they literally just feel like a tap. So I don't want people nervous about acupuncture. And if you are nervous, you can try one in your forearm just to see, like, oh, it's not scary first. Or it could be acupressure if you are super nervous with respect to needles. Or I've seen Udani use cupping.
Yes.
On the acupressure points, which is just like pulling the skin up a little. A lot of Olympic athletes and will help, and it helps create circulation and lymphatic drainage. But you can see that it doesn't hurt. It is not scary. It's not like a prick or something like that with those acupuncture needles. And if you can show the next slide, please. And so this is just an example, I think, Dr. Udani, that, we see the alcohol, we see the custom needles. So there's never reusing everything. Everything's fully individually packaged and then put in a Sharpie box, like put away safely. So nothing is ever able to be reused, or everything's completely sanitized and safe for you.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll just add to that is the needle, the thickness of the needle is less than your hair. So it's a very tiny needle. So you're not going to rarely patients feel it. Some of them even ask me like, oh, did you actually needle me? Because they don't feel it. So it's a very, it's light. So if you're afraid of that, I would say don't be. You can always do the acupressure to see how you feel about it too.
And is there one more picture there, Angela? And see if she has one more picture. There we go. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, like, what ages and what kind of conditions do you work with?
Absolutely. So I work with quite a wide range of ages. So I work from children, like one of my patients was just a few weeks old. And, so I worked with as young as that, as well as some older patients too. So one of my patients was 85 or so. So there's a big range, and that's why you really have a full hour of to see you and to gauge how you're feeling, what you're doing, like what's your main health concerns. And my specialties is in I do a lot of digestive health. So lets you come in with a lot of bloating, acid reflux, or heartburn. You have constipation, or you're tired all the time, trouble losing weight. I also focus a lot on stress and anxiety. So relieving that stress and relieving that anxiety with depression as well. And also skin concerns too. So acne, eczema, rosacea, and hair loss, those kind of concerns. I work with them as well. And I also do diabetes because of, I have the connection with my grandfather. So I really see what he went through. And I don't want anybody to go through what he went through, right? So I do focus a lot on diabetes as well, just to promote that healthy lifestyle. And of course, I love pain as well. So any kind of joint pain, arthritis, neck pain, back pain, those things I work a lot as well.
And how about heart disease?
Yes, so heart disease is definitely, so preventing heart disease or treating if you're currently having heart disease, for sure. Finding ways that can manage because a lot of people with heart disease are on like a ton of medication, right? They're like on this blood pressure medication. Usually they're on diabetes medication, then like a statin, so cholesterol medication. So definitely I help them see where you can do changes and how you can maybe remove some of this medication in a safe way, so that you have more quality in life, for sure. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I know that, Carol came in and has seen you and just amazing results with her depression. Like it just not only changed her life, but she feels she's a better mother because of it. And therefore changing her children's lives and even future grandchildren's lives. So just a huge difference for Carol. And I know Marcy is speaking to me just how it's changed her skin, like skin condition that's been there for years and years and years. These rashes and being able to manage it so that it not only just looks better but it feels better. And I know even one of our staff members saw the naturopath and used homeopathy and was able to get a rash again on her leg that'd been there again for years and just thought that she would always have this rash. And didn't realize the potential of rashes they don't have to be there. You just got to get to the root cause in order to, your body that is a symptom of a problem. That isn't the actual problem. So tell me some of the kind of questions that you might ask as you go through these different conditions. What kind of questions, if you gave me 5 or 6 questions that you would ask a patient about their lifestyle, about their health, if they were to come in to see you?
Absolutely. So first thing I usually ask is, how long has this been happening for you? How long have you been experiencing this way? Has it gone worse or better? Like, what's the progression? And then I also ask, yes, for sure, I ask about diet. So what do you usually eat in a normal day? So let's walk through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Then I also talk to them about their digestion as well. So how are you digesting food? Do you feel bloated, or is it pretty good? Then I also ask them, questions about their lifestyle and their home health too, like so things about stress and work. Then I will specifically go into those concerns. So let's say someone comes in with a skin concern. So I will ask them, what things have you already used on your skin to that have they helped or have they not helped? Then I can ask about the water intake, so different types of things like that, because water is super important for any health. Then I would just be more specific and ask about, so there is in the intake a review of symptoms. So that's where I go through all of your systems. So I go through your skin, I go through your circulatory system. So that's about blood pressure, veins, and all those things. I go through joint pain, go through your menstrual cycle. I go through mood, like your psychological symptoms and things like that. So that I love doing it because I get a full picture of you as an individual person, and that way I can see what would work best for you. And so there is some of the questions is really about, how is your diet? How's your lifestyle? What do you think is stopping you from getting the change that you were looking for? And what have you tried? What have you not tried so far? Are you okay with trying these things? Because I also want to ask if you can, right? So because I want to make sure that it's something that you can follow through. So it definitely is a conversation. So I'm never like the person that says, you got to do this, and if you don't do this, you're going to be bad, and and into like that. So I'm definitely not that kind of naturopath or a doctor. So I always try to make sure that it's a team effort, because I'm part of the team and you as the patient is part of the team. So, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I agree that, for example, if you try to tell me to eat, a vegetable that I absolutely hate, that's not going to work, right? We got to find the ones that's going to be customized to you and you'll be able to follow, right? You don't want recommendations that you can never follow. Angela's just going to show some slides. Tell us a little bit, like through these slides, how we would make an appointment or a meet and greet with you.
Yeah, so if you can, so where the arrow is, if you scroll down there, you'll be able to see all the different booking sites. So it has, so in the existing patients, you have other appointments. That's where you can find the Jane app scheduling system. So there you go. And then you can choose the appointments that you would like. So initially, I do the initial naturopathic visit, which is about an hour to an hour and a half long. And then when you click on that, you'll be shown my availability. So you can click there. And I do highly suggest and recommend that you do download the form. They're all online. That way you can fill it out ahead of time and bring it with us. So it's in the same drop-down menu. If you go down there, it has forms in it. And then when you click the forms, you'll be able to see in the group, in the pile there, naturopathic initial intake form. So that's the one. And once you do that, once you fill it out, that way we can get started as soon as you come in, and you don't have to wait to fill that out. So that's something I would highlight.
We are trying to make everything easier for you and help with social distancing in the waiting room. So that way, as you come in, you're not sitting with other patients to fill out your forms. If you've downloaded them, you can come right in and see Dr. Udani right away. So that'll help you feel more comfortable and also help the social distancing in that front room at the center. And just, Udani, thank you so much. I mean, I just love having you on our team. What's what you want to be behind? I know your mom has left a legacy. What kind of legacy do you want to leave with your practice, with your life, and with your family?
That's such a great question, Dr. Justine. And I think I want to leave a legacy that I did something positive for someone's life. Like I turned their life around, and I want to, and I've been so blessed and grateful that I've already been able to do certain things for a lot of patients, especially at Justine Blainey Wellness Center, where I was able to really show them another way of living, and just improve their symptoms, and get better. So my legacy for me is to help educate and help change as many people as I can because of what I saw with what my mom did. And now I do see the correlation there, how I'm helping so many people because of the action that she took and because she felt empowered. So I want to do the same for all the patients that I do get to see too, where I want to empower them so that way they can make these decisions of health, so that they can change their families too and the future of their families. So if I can do that for even one patient, I will be so happy and feel so grateful. So that will really be my legacy.
I believe you're already doing it. So awesome, Udani. Thank you for the time today. And just note that Dr. Udani has been amazing. We've had a great partnership. And these are the hours that Dr. Udani works. She does do the complimentary meet and greet if you want to do that virtually or in the office, just 5-10 minute chat to make sure it's the right fit for you. And then here are hours. And just know that each visit is longer to be thorough. And for her to really reach out to you and help to make that difference that she's talking about. So thank you for your time today. I encourage everybody to have an opportunity to learn more about naturopathy and the great work that Dr. Udani does at the Justine Blainey Wellness Center. Have a great night.
Thank you so much, Dr. Justine, for having me and for having me as part of your team. I love it working with you. And, I love working at the clinic. It's such great energy. And I'm so happy and I'm so glad I did this interview with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.